So this is my scene with all the props finally textured. Some of the props are textured in Photoshop, and it doesn't look like they really have much for normal maps. So I did the two that don't really have any normal maps as the gold bag and then the bridge. And then everything else will have a pretty heavy amount of normal maps. I took a little bit off of the walls for the home prior to me putting them into Unity like this. They definitely had a lot of grain on it. And so learning about how the normals can affect, like how it actually can be perceived in the game engine was a big learning curve. Like the inside of modeling pieces, if they're black faces, they don't exist. Like the inside of my window sills, so you can see past them because they're actually just black faces and not connected through the window panes. Um, Yeah. Then we also learned about trim sheets. So this pillar, this lower part of the pillar, then we got like the treasure chest was used the same, oops, and the carriage was all used using the same trim sheet. So learning that modeling way of doing the textures. I took this into Unity, or excuse me, I took this from Maya, did a little sculpting in Maya. I didn't have ZBrush, and made this little design and kind of swirled it around on all these little pieces to try to give it, put it on the back piece here and this little piece right here, just to give it to like as much of that swirl as I could. And then you'll see on the treasure chest, I kind of did a lot of the same thing. Took it onto this piece, put it on the overhanging part of here, and then kind of mirrored them on either side of the little pillar standing up. Just to try to give it a, I don't know, kind of an artsy style design on here. So a lot of this was inspired by the Lionhead Studios Fable, the old school one. So I was trying to give my best representation of that. Doing a little, some of the models in Substance Painter. This is how I was able to do for the lanterns and these light posts to add the scratches and everything onto it. It kind of looks like it's a metal sheen on it more than a varnish, which I was trying to mess around with to try to take it off of here and resave the file to see if it would update on here. But it's just, I think it's because it's kind of dark when I was doing it, that is doing it. So when I did this stylized little lamp post, kind of illuminate the back half of the house, um, you can see, where is it? A little bit more of it doing it on this lamp post as well. It's like as the light hits it, you can see it's got like this real metalness to it, but I turned off the metalness tab, so I don't know why I was doing it. And then for the light, I did like an old metal, I think it was an old iron, and then started adding a bunch of layers of like moss and dirt and rust into the cracks, just to give it the textured look of an old worn lantern that's been sitting by a lake for a long time. For the plants, I had flowers, uh, these flowers, the bushes, just to try to give it, oops, just try to give it some variety with the mushrooms. Also did the trees with some alpha textured leaves instead of trying to model them out like I done before. With the normal maps added onto there, I was able to give it some kind of mildewy moss put on there. And then later learning that in Painter you can actually manually paint how the moss looks instead of just relying on a random occurrence getting pushed on there by the substance sampler. And then through iterations, the project got better and better. So like for the mushrooms, you can see I took a little bit of Photoshop work, took it into Substance Painter, added textures to it to give it like this normal map, took it into Substance Designer, or excuse me, Substance Painter, started painting other parts of it. So the mushroom was actually taken in like 3 different softwares before it made it into the to Unity. That flower looked weird. The pillar, this one was just broken, kind of gave it made like an ancient look, like it's been sitting there for a while, getting grown over. Wish I had more variety of plants that I propped up and textured for this scene. Kind of looks a little barren. For the pillars and stuff like that, I just wanna, they were like a stone texture that I took from Substance, what was it, Substance Painter, Substance Sampler, and I just kind of added it onto the UVs when we unwrapped them. And these ones were gonna go for a different type of bridge that I made, and now they kind of just got form fitted and retrofitted into this like abstract piece getting pushed in the background. One of the pillars are leaning on there just to give it kind of an ancient feel. And then, so we learned how to do alpha textures for the plants instead of having to model them out. Learn how to apply textures for the house. Like this is a lot of modular walls that actually had their own textures applied to them. There's something going on whenever see, something going on when I applied my textures onto here. As you can see, like the bricks just kind of like roll through the UVs. Like the texture that was on the UVs, just not a line to it when I assembled it. So like a lot of these are doing some weird optical illusion type things. Some parts of them they just roll over the UVs instead of having the textures applied to the UVs. And then there's this issue where I was having a light spot popping up. I think it did it on the back too. It wasn't like this when I modeled it or put it on the textures on Maya. That was the 3D modeling software I was using. But for here, when I put it on Unity, it changes a little bit, just like I was saying, the invisible back faces of the wall. So some learning experiences were definitely happening. Seeing what was going on there. It's because it's the same texture that's on for the darker parts, and for whatever reason, when it's getting put onto the walls, it's just I don't know. I gotta learn either planar, triplanar, or one of the UV sets, or however I apply the texture is getting a little awkward. But we learned how to do trim sheets. We learned how to do textures through Photoshop. We learned how to do textures through Painter, Substance Painter, and the water was just one of the little game objects you can put on here for making a water decal or water thing floating up, and then just dug down the terrain, kind of make it like in a secluded area, maybe more to the level as we get more props and more stuff leveled up. But for now, this was a scene. Got a normal. We learned how to do normal maps, ambient inclusion maps. Learned how to do taking textures from images to materials, taking out the lines for like if you were doing like clone stamp tools. Um, yeah, this class really taught us a lot on how to do the basics of texturing. I tried to take it as far as I could and learn as much as I could for this class. Um, don't really know much else to say, honestly. I mean, this was an amazing class. I don't have any complaints about it. This takes my little gray models into something that could almost be a playable game. I try to base everything I was doing off of Fable, but now we can just the sky's the limit. You can take any texture and any models and start messing with them and learning how to do the unwrapping, learning how to do real good textures. It's an amazing class.